We just had a blast. We just got to see Blakely Chorpenning. She was our very first author when we debuted with Angie and Christie Right Now. She was our Halloween special in 2023. And so it has been almost a full year since then. And she came back on to talk about her new novel, Requiem.
It was great. It was actually fun because it's the first time that we actually saw her. Well, okay, you've known her, but I've never really seen her because the last time we were all dressed up in Halloween costumes. So it was kind of nice to actually see her as a person. And so she's a sweetheart. Except you would never think that the horror that's in the books that she writes comes out of that sweet face because oh my gosh, like Sinner is like okay, I'm pretty like scaredy cat, so I don't really read like true horror, but like that was close enough to me. Like, I mean, the stuff that happens in that book were quite scary. I would recommend to anybody who's like me and doesn't do well with horror to read it during the day with the lights on. Don't do anything close to nighttime with that book.
I really love the way she wrote the scenes and she added the senses in. You definitely probably don't want to have some of the senses that she brings in because it's pretty terrifying and gross. Because she's writing about the supernatural, she's writing about vampires, but I love the way she did it. I love the way she was able to bring that fresh horror onto the page and make you feel it. Like
Oh,
I felt
yeah.
it. Like I was
And
terrified. I was reading it last night at night, and it was just
it's crazy to read at night. Like, I mean, it's scary to read at night, especially since the main character, the very first thing that you learn about the character within the first 2 pages is that the character is scared of the dark. And trust us, there's a good reason why she's scared of the dark. But when you're reading in the dark and the main character is scared of the dark and the main character is hurrying to close all the shades and everything, and you're like, oh my goodness, like, oh my goodness. And you're looking around, it's like, oh my God, it's dark here. Should I be closing all my shades? You know, like it's
well, and of course you're
literally.
like wondering, okay, is this person overreacting? Is there something going on? Like, why is she feeling this way? Why is she reacting in this way? Is it something that's just in her mind, or is it actually something that's really out there? And that's one of the questions that I'm still wondering,
Yeah.
after reading Sinner and going now into Requiem, is, what is real, what's not real?
Yep.
And I love that because there's those questions. And that's the book with Sinner. There's a lot of questions in the beginning too, because you don't really know what's going on and what's happening to her. And so, I mean, you can read the back cover and it kind of gives you some clues. But I think I didn't read the back cover of the book. I just kind of jumped right in.
Well, we interviewed her and she talked about Sinner, and I was like, I mean, obsessed with it. I needed to read it. And so I didn't read the back cover either. I just picked up the book and read. And yeah, like for the little first while, it's kind of like, what is going on with this poor main character? Like, oh my goodness. I have difficulty as a writer in making my characters go through tough stuff, but Blakely Chorpenning does not. She puts that main character through the ringer. The poor girl is like, think of something, it's happening to her. It's horrible.
Well, the
But
thing
at the
is,
same time, it's great.
yeah, and she's a strong character too. So even though these things are happening to her, she's reacting to it, but she's also reacting with strength. Like she's facing it and she's fighting it.
Yes.
Sometimes she runs because that's smart.
Yeah.
There are times when the smart thing, the brave thing to do is just to turn around and run.
Yeah.
And so she is smart enough to do that. And that's why I liked the character, because she's very real. She's a very real character.
Exactly. And like, I mean, some of the times that she's running is to protect her family. Sometimes she knows that stuff is happening to her. She doesn't want anybody else hurt. So she runs to protect her family. And that makes her more endearing to me because like, that's what you want, to protect your family and everything. And that's the other thing about this book and Blakely as a whole is like her characterization is fantastic. Like I cared about these. And like you were saying during our short interview with her for Requiem, none of these characters are black and white. It's all shades of gray. Everybody's got a little bad and a little good, or more good, less bad, whatever. But like, yeah, I totally agree with you. Everybody's real and has a past, and you know, it's good. The whole thing.
Yeah, I do. I love it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. And I can't wait to find out what happens
Me
because
too.
love it. Be fun. And so anyway, if you really enjoy hearing about what an author thinks about when they're writing a book, what her motivation was, what some of the themes were for the story. It's a 2-book series, Sinner and Requiem. And right now, I think Sinner may be on sale because I think, but it maybe not. But it was in a Kindle Unlimited book. So if you wanted to grab it there, definitely do that. Sinner's first and then Requiem. And if you want a longer deep dive into Blakely's writing process, what she has other books out as well. Check out our interview from last year in October 2023. Is our Halloween edition. So we look a little crazy with our costumes on, but we'll have the link on the screen. So at the end of this interview, it'll pop up. Just click on the link and it'll take you directly to the video. If you want to watch any other author videos, we will also have the link to our playlist. So you can click on that. Of course, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do that now because, we'd like to think that you are going to be there for some of our next videos and that you enjoy them. And so we just want to thank you so much for joining us today and say goodbye. So
until next time.